Hi everyone, this is Ash DeCosta, CTO of Mainland Information Systems, and I'd like to welcome you to our technology panel discussion. Today we have NetApp in the house with a pair of Keiths. So if you guys don't mind introducing yourselves.
Sounds good. My name is Keith Aasen. I'm a consulting systems engineer with NetApp. In my role, I focus on emerging technologies. It's a national role, so I touch a lot of customers coast to coast within Canada and a lot of different verticals, but usually interact with them at a fairly high level, talking about directions for technologies that involve storage.
Cool.
I'm Keith Purslow. I'm a systems engineer here for NetApp in Calgary. And in my role, I support a variety of customers in a bunch of different verticals, so everything from education through to big oil and gas companies and a few different ones in between. Cool.
And part-time cyborg slayer.
Part-time cyborg slayer, yeah.
Well, welcome guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no worries. So the first thing I want to talk about is Flash. Like, there's a lot of industry buzz around Flash. Everyone's talking about Flash. And I guess what I'm wondering is, what are you guys seeing in the market? And specifically, what are you seeing in the Western Canadian marketplace, if you don't mind?
Sure. Well, seeing, as you mentioned, a lot of buzz. It's interesting though, from a Flash standpoint, there's a lot of different viewpoints, and companies are approaching it in different ways. Some are going forward saying that soon everything will be Flash. You know, the spinning disk is dead. Other vendors that have a hybrid strategy say that ideally Flash should just be an acceleration layer to spinning disk, and ideally they can move data between the two. And then even within the Flash space, there's different levels of need where different features are required. And some are very feature rich and some are very minimalistic but very, very fast platforms. So NetApp is approaching this in a way that we do believe that there is an emerging need for Flash, and it's definitely going to be used more heavily in the future. But we don't believe yet that there's going to be an all-Flash data center. There's always going to be a need for high-capacity storage to complement the massive performance of Flash. Still, based on the applications, some platforms are going to need very feature-rich Flash capabilities, and others don't. A lot of those capabilities, like replication and data protection, are being embedded in the application. And in those cases, the Flash platform doesn't need to be as feature-rich, but just needs to be very, very fast. So we're approaching it in a means to being able to support all those different architectures and really being able to bind them together.
Okay, that's an interesting take actually, because I've heard that Flash has to be absolutely everywhere, but you guys are basically finding the appropriate use cases, if you will, for them. So I was wondering, what is NetApp's Flash strategy currently? Like, what are your product sets?
Well, like Keith said, we've addressed it from three different angles, and that is, Flash as a addition to a regular system to accelerate a portion of the workload or all of the workload. It can just be fit into one of the regular storage systems that we sell. Flash as a tier within a storage system, so that is in what we call the disk subsystem. Along with the other disk drives, there's some of the Flash drives that can be installed, and then a portion of the workload can be accelerated, and then of course there's the all-Flash solution. And like Keith said, we've taken a different approach than a lot of competitive storage vendors in the marketplace in that we are addressing all three. But what made NetApp unique, I think, in the marketplace is that we were the first to bring clustering into the mainstream. There were a lot of clustered operating systems in the storage market that are for engineering apps or were for very niche portions of the market. NetApp brought that to the mainstream, and in doing so, unified the three Flash strategies into one product. So you could have all three of those Flash strategies in your data center, and it was really quite usable. It was available to everyone.
Okay, cool. I believe you guys have an all-Flash FAS storage system, right? And maybe you can explain a little bit about what that technology is all about.
Well, and maybe before I dive into that, part of that goes to this concept, something that a lot of the startups or the vendors market around Flash, is this concept of built for Flash, right? We started off and we built our platform
I've heard that a lot.
specifically for Flash, and you kind of just wanted to address that a little bit before I move into what happened with the all-Flash FAS. Is definitely Flash is a game changer for how a system handles the media, and you do have to handle Flash media differently. There's things you don't have to do on a Flash platform that you do have to do on spinning disk, and there's new things like garbage collection and wear leveling and things like that you do have to do. But those things aren't revolutionary. They aren't something that defines a platform or are really that extensive. And frankly, what we did on ONTAP previously through Waffle and how we optimize writes for spinning disk already paved the way to have a lot of those capabilities on the ONTAP platform. But that's not to say that ONTAP natively was ideal for Flash. But ONTAP has never stood still. Right? Over the 21 or 22 years we've had ONTAP on the market, it's continually evolved to adopt new protocols and adopt new technologies. Remember when SATA came out, we were the first vendor to support SATA drives behind, and we had to adapt ONTAP to be able to handle those large capacity and much slower drives. So the same things happened in Flash, where historically adding Flash to ONTAP in the initial days didn't result in a massive performance gain, but every version of ONTAP since, we've evolved and modified the ONTAP operating system to better handle Flash, and now we're able to ship what we call an all-Flash FAS, which is a regular ONTAP system that just has SSD behind the scenes. But really what makes it all Flash is when that system boots and recognizes, hey, I only have SSDs, it inherits a new personality and it handles that media like a built-for-Flash system normally would, which allows us to deliver that similar performance or extreme performance, but still deliver all of the high-value features and data capabilities, data management capabilities we've had historically on spinning disks.
So that's what I find that's different about the all-Flash FAS, is the fact that you're bringing NetApp to bear basically your entire feature set, if you will, into a Flash environment, where other Flash technologies are just basically dumb Flash arrays. They don't have any intelligence, they have no replication capabilities, they have no deduplication capabilities or any of those kinds of things, right? Or snapshots and things like that. Everything that NetApp's been known for, I find cool that is now, completely available in your all-Flash FAS story.
Even those platforms that do have deduplication or compression capabilities, you're stranding the data on the Flash platform, which might be great for the active data, but it doesn't address things like disaster recovery or archive. You're kind of stranding them on this all Flash. What we really think is unique about ONTAP is the ability to have that all-Flash capability for production, but still have that Flash capability live in an ecosystem where DR or archive is handled on much lower cost spinning disk, which is more applicable for that part of the data in its life cycle.
That's true. Like an all-Flash FAS can participate, correct me if I'm wrong, in an actual clustered ONTAP solution. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. So you could move data to and from that all-Flash node as needed throughout that data lifecycle, whether that's a certain time of the year or just for the production cycle, or even just having it there and having the ability to snapshot it and move it for archive purposes to SATA disk.
That's very cool, because I know for a fact that competitors don't do that, right? You can't actually insert their Flash arrays and have it participate, if you will, in their overall storage strategy, if you will. As you said, it's stranded, it's on its own kind of thing. Yeah, cool. Keith, I was just curious about the EF storage array. So where does that fit in compared to all Flash FAS?
So I would classify EF as a I/O offload type of solution. So for the portions of the environment that we would call the heavy hitters or the bully type tenants who might occupy or take more than their fair share of the resources on a shared storage system, those can be offloaded to an EF type solution. So the EF stands for Enterprise Flash, and it's an all Flash array, but would be where you take your bully tenants within your shared storage array and offload them onto this one. So these are tenants who have ultra high performance requirements or ultra low latency requirements, and those requirements are consistent. They need them all the time. They can't tolerate small periods of time where the system's doing some of these background tasks that Keith alluded to, where there might be a potential slowdown, where there's low to no tolerance for such variance in performance. And EF is an offload for those types of tenants.
Okay, cool. So thanks guys for that really engaging discussion around NetApp's Flash strategy.
Thanks for having us.
So be sure to check out our other video on NetApp's cloud strategy. Thanks for joining us.